So we've seen how technology can affect the quality of our lives. But when you start living in a virtual world, what happens to the quality of our relationships? You know, the ones that were there before the internet. But what if your partner or best friend moves away? How can you stay in touch? Or what if you're trying to find Mr. or Mrs. Right without even leaving your house? Where do you go to find them? In this age of technology, our online personas are becoming more and more integrated into our real lives. We have redefined what it means to be in a relationship.
A decade, 15 years ago now, the internet was seen as like this anonymous environment that people could engage in all this sort of anonymous, flexible identity construction. Because that's how it was. You could go onto chat rooms, you could use a username, and you weren't interacting necessarily with people who knew you or who you knew in real life. But social network sites have changed all that. Facebook has almost become like this place to go. Like, oh, this is my friend from Facebook. Like, as if Facebook is a place. Being social and connecting with other people is a human condition that we've always been compelled towards. But I think Facebook, because of the ease of communication and the ease of connection, has made that just so much easier to do. Facebook has definitely changed the meaning of the word friend. So friend used to be somebody that you were really close with and that you would spend a lot of face-to-face time with and you would share a lot of information with. And I think that that's part of Facebook compelling this kind of disclosure because, well, it's just my friends. I mean, I might have 1,000 of them, but they're my friends.
It's definitely a little invasive.
I think Facebook can get really invasive. It can get weird.
And I'm finding out that some of those pictures that I put on there, going to concerts and things, probably shouldn't be out there for my 10-year-old grandson to see.
It's really what it is. Everyone just wants people to notice them. It's just, you want to be, it's like you're on the internet. It's like I have a page on the internet.
So this idea of being anonymous is it connects our online and offline identities. So instead of having that anonymity to engage in a number of different identity forums, now a lot of our Facebook connections we've at least met, once offline, and many of them more than that. Something else that we talk about in our research is this idea of participating in a social identity on Facebook. So the way that you have your identity on Facebook is not only what you say about yourself and what you post, but it's what others say and share about you. So the more you put up there, the more others can contribute, the more you can construct a social identity on Facebook. There's this idea that we're like narcissists, and we're so into ourselves, and it's like the me generation. It's like me on Facebook and 500 pictures of me, and that can sometimes construed as like, even not even self-esteem, but just like total self-indulgence. And that is not necessarily true, in my opinion. The younger generation has a different concept of privacy than what an older generation has. And it definitely has to do with the internet. It's the characteristic of Generation Y, no question. And particularly social media, especially for younger people that have grown up with all of this technology. The way that they learn, the way that they work, the way that they're social, their ability to switch between different tasks. All of these things are different than the previous generation. When we first joined, we had nothing like it. So it compelled us to share, and we shared. And we didn't necessarily know or maybe even think about the consequences of sharing, or perhaps most people didn't. And what came out in our research was, now that Facebook has been around for a few years and been highly popular for a few years, that people are starting to learn from their mistakes, essentially. Some people seem to use it in a way that was positive for their relationships, but for the most part, it was seen as one method of communication that was rated as lower or less intimate, I guess, than other methods of communication.
I've never had long distance without Facebook. We both had a Facebook coming into college. We didn't really discuss the whole long distance thing before it happened. I'll have times when I'm having a bad day or something, and I'll just look through Facebook pictures because I want to see it. I can't. It sucks.
It's hard because even though I do talk to him every day, I still miss him when he's not there. So the physical closeness is important, but if you didn't have either, it would be even harder.
Instant communication, I think, is better for a relationship if the person's not there. Just makes sense to me.
We did focus groups with young people, undergrad students, and we talked about what's it like being in a relationship on Facebook. A few people would say, I like talking to my partner on Facebook, sometimes more because I can see pictures of them, I can keep up to date with what they're doing. It feels like I'm getting a little bit more information about them than I would over other forms of online communication, at least. People posted a relationship status. When they first joined Facebook, if they had a partner, yeah, who's your partner? This is my partner, and then you had a status. Once they'd been through a breakup, or maybe two, they started to rethink this idea of making their relationship public.
It's not that I really care that much about it being on there. It's more just I don't want random people like walking up to me and be like, dude, what happened? Like, is everything okay? You know? I just didn't want to deal with everyone thinking we were breaking up because of Facebook, which is just obnoxious.
This weird idea of it's not official until it's published on Facebook.
The whole term Facebook official is kind of taken, it's common. You know, you'll say, oh, Facebook official, or they're just messing around. People are hesitant sometimes to really call themselves in a relationship almost if they're not on Facebook about it.